up with the fifth language, acts of revenue and efficiency. The fifth language is really what warms the CFO's heart. Just talking about increasing revenue and efficiency will bring a warm, rosy glow to any CFO's demeanor. And if that leads to increased business profitability, now they're really lathered up. So how can a support leader get into this conversation? The first way is to find ways to increase revenue. Now, let's be clear. Many companies are not in a market position where they can charge extra for support. You may not be in a position to charge anything for support. At the end of the day, customers pay for the value they get from the product. And in early stage companies, support is one of the teams that just makes the product work. But here are some ways you can change the script. Back in the last century, when phones had cords, software companies included a maintenance fee as part of their software offering. This fee was typically 10 to 20% of the list software price, and it was meant to pay for support, product upgrades, and bug fixes. SaaS changed all this. Vendors quickly moved to a model where customers were just billed a single monthly charge, and the idea of maintenance really has disappeared. But as we know, support is a critical part of any tech company's offering. So something to consider is just including support as a line item on your sales orders. You don't have to charge extra for it, but just having it there could create an awareness that support adds value to the business. There was a time when I wasn't a fan of charging for support, especially at early and mid-stage startups. But after meeting the head of support at Iterable, Neil Smith, at Support Driven's leadership conference earlier this year, I've started to really change my mind about this. Neil gave a great presentation called Navigating the Transition from Free Support to Paid Services. And I strongly recommend anyone who's interested in learning ways to think about charging support to check it out. Yes, the support team is typically the one on the blame line for customer retention, but even the most crusty CFM would admit that support plays an important role in that process. I haven't spent too much time thinking about this problem, but I'm sure someone out there has cracked the code on how to measure the support contribution to the retention number. To be clear, it's not going to increase revenue, but it does align you with monetary value. And then two other opportunities are cross-sell and upsell. I'll come clean here and acknowledge that I don't have a ton of experience doing this. I briefly flirted with the idea in a few places, but quickly came to the conclusion it wasn't going to work in those situations. That said, I know it's something that support leaders in more mature organizations are tackling. So you may want to talk to them and get some ideas there. So these are four pretty standard ideas for creating a revenue stream that is associated with support. They may not be the best move for you and your company, but I can guarantee your CFO will love you a little bit more if you at least consider it. And then the other half on improving efficiency, if your team is in a position to drive revenue, the next best way to a CFO's heart is to create these efficiencies. But it doesn't always have to be about cutting costs. I'm not going to spend time on this topic because there have been a lot of great speakers at this conference who presented a lot of ways to save money, improve productivity, and just drive a better support business. But I'll remind everyone of this. All but the most miserly of CFOs are interested in learning how to make support teams more effective, more efficient, and scale sublinearly. So if you have some investment ideas, schedule time with the CFO and paint them a picture. Just make sure you're speaking in a language they can understand. So here are the 5 languages. I'm not going to recap them. I've done that with each section. But if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. But before I answer anything, my legal team advised me to read this brief passage. I'm not an attorney, accountant, or financial advisor, nor am I holding myself out to be. And the information contained in this presentation is not a substitute for financial advice from a professional who is aware of the facts and circumstances of your individual situation. Okay, having some fun with the legal community as well. Maybe I'll do a lawyer whispering session next time. Thank you.